Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to do something slightly different from the norm when I have my show. I have a co host today, someone who's going to introduce me, or rather, interview me, and I'm kind of excited about it. She's my sister, and she is a woman who has a great deal of talent, but the thing that she's really good at is business coaching. I'm excited for her because she has decided that that is the area that she's going to go into. So if you know someone who needs a good business coach or someone who is interested in having a speaker who can talk on business, I'm going to definitely recommend my sister, Nora Jackson. Nora has been a member of the business world ever since she got into the job market, and there's probably nothing you could ask her that she couldn't possibly answer. So she will be interviewing me today because we're going to do something slightly different. As you know, I have been gone for a while, and you'll learn why during the course of this interview. Hi, my name is Lawana Parker, and I am the host of Courage to Live Your Dream. Today, my sister Nora Jackson will be doing the interview. Nora, take it away.
Well, hello, Luana. How are you?
I'm doing great now. I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed still, but otherwise, I'm doing just fine.
Well, tell us what's been happening with you in your life.
Well, as you know, of course, in February, I lost my husband, and that was a devastating blow. He had cancer, and the cancer came back. We always knew that it would probably come back someday, but when it came, it was a lot faster than we had anticipated. So we started in November when we got the word that there was a possibility that it was coming back.
Okay, so how have you and your family handled the change?
It's been rough. Um, I've been blessed because my I have three sons, and one of my grandsons who are raised from a baby, who has been my rock and foundation. And I have uh, I don't think I could have made it without them. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what happened. When we found out about the cancer, we really thought there was going to be some time. We anticipated we had a few months or at least a few weeks in which we could come to grips with it. But as it turned out, after going through the tests, he had to take some ultrasound tests and several other things that turned out to be, well, for him, it was very telling. He thought he would be able to fight it as he did before. I shared before about him having the cancer 11 years ago. And at that time, they told him he had about 6 months, maybe a year, to survive it. But my husband, being the kind of man that he was, and you can see his picture here, always a happy person.
Great
Uh,
picture.
Thank you. He was determined that he was going to fight this. And he told the doctors, he said, until the man upstairs, until God himself said his time was up, he didn't accept what they were saying. And so he went through the chemo and the radiation treatments. And as you can see, my husband is a big man, or was a big man. And he became like skin and bones during the course of those treatments. But he took them anyway, and he held on and he fought it. And the cancer went away.
Wow.
We were truly blessed because we got 11 years before it decided to resurface.
Well,
And
how long were you married?
oh wow, we were together over 50 years.
Wow.
A long time to be with one person. Definitely longer than I was ever with my family. I
Mhm.
was blessed to have him for a husband. He was a good man, and We had four wonderful sons, and I mentioned three earlier. That's because we lost one back in '89, and took me a while to get over that.
Right.
Mhm.
So tell us something about him. Did you tell us something about some of his interests or some of the things that?
Oh, well, one of the things that he used to be very interested in, and that was playing whist. Uh, he could play whist all day and all night. And that used to get on my nerves. I mean, it bugged me because I thought, hey, wait a minute, what about me, you know? But that was his thing, playing whist. As he got older, of course, he got away from the whist and he obtained other interests. But that was the big thing he was known for. He was very good at it. He had a partner um, whose name is Archie Parks. And they, when the two of them played together, the chances of you winning was slim and none. They
Yeah.
were that good together. Um, but he loved sports. Like, he had played football in school, and as an adult, he loves sports, pretty much all sports. So, of course, when cable came out and they had sports channels, there weren't too many games that he missed.
Mhm. So you were together over 50 years. I'm sure you must really miss him now, right?
Yes, I do. Um, Even though I knew the cancer would come back one day, it still caught me off guard because he was in good health. He had some problems. Ulcers started coming on, and that scared us for a while, but he licked that. There were times when he had bouts of uh, respiratory problems, and he had allergies, but he always came back from those things. Even though some of them put him back in the hospital, he came back from those things and was able to um, be himself. And people who knew my husband just loved him to death because he was the kind of person that if you were his friend, there was nothing he wouldn't do for you if it was within his power. And so to have this happen to somebody who had so much strength, who was always a happy person, who loved life, enjoyed things so much, and to have that happen to him was devastating for all of us. What I am grateful for, though, is that when we found out that this time he wasn't going to be able to fight it, and I notified all the children and his sisters and brothers, he was able to see all of them because everybody came. His sisters and brothers came to visit him. Our children were there, our grandchildren, even the great grandchildren were there. So he got to see everyone in those last few days that he had here. As I said, it caught us by surprise. We thought we had a few months, at least a few weeks, but it was like in January when they told us that we have to do something now because it's really spreading. And in between the they were going to do some more tests, and we thought they were going to be able to find something that would work for him. But instead, they told us there was nothing they could do, and if he were to take any more, uh, try to do radiation or chemo as he had done before, it would shorten what time he had left. That was a devastating blow for us, and it was as if in that short period of time, it seemed like it was about 3 or 4 weeks when they told us that. And I just saw him going down. I saw a man go from 253 pounds to where he was, I say he was about 200 pounds when he passed away. And for me, it was really hurting to see this man who I had depended on for so many things and who was always there. He was like the rock for me and my sons and grandchildren, and suddenly see him going down that way. That was That was hurtful.
I bet it was. Wow.
Mhm.
So, has there been anything else that you've been going through lately? I know things after the death of a close one, a loved one, besides the emotional stress, and sometimes it creates financial stress and other kind of stresses in your life.
Well, you're right. There are emotional stress, and I've been fighting those because it's so easy when someone who's been around you is suddenly no longer there. Um, you find yourself you're in a sad place, and that's to be expected. But you kind of have to be careful because you become, I don't want to say depressed because it's not really depressed, but it can lead to being depressed.
Yes.
You're in a place where you feel like nothing is ever going to be the same, which of course it won't be. You feel as if you don't have what it takes to move forward. And I had to fight that. And I'm still fighting it because it still comes over me. Um, it's only been a few months, a couple of months or so that my husband passed away. So I'm still fighting it. But I am blessed because I have children who are trying to make sure that I don't fall in that place and stay there. And part of the process for me was to get back out in life. And I have friends who have stepped up and are there for me. They have offered to do things for me, and that's a great feeling to know that people care enough about you that they want to be there to support you through what you're going through. In fact, I've had several who have gotten on my case because they've told me, we're here. Ask us for what you need. Don't try to hold all that in and do it by yourself. And that that has been a big savings for me. Uh, Having lost my mom, I lost a sister, lost my dad, and several years prior to that, I'd lost my son. That was the time when I fell into a really bad place, and my whole life changed from that. So I didn't want that to happen this time. So I truly appreciate the fact that my children are supporting me. Um, in fact, I have to keep reminding them that I'm the mom and they are the children, but I love the fact that they have been peppering me, so to speak. you know, it's been great.
Well, do you have any advice for anybody else that might be going through something like this?
Don't don't just sit around and mope. It is so easy, and I almost fell into that myself, just to mope about what was and what was not going to be any longer, what I could no longer do, because there are changes like when someone passed. So don't mope. Talk to friends. If necessary, join a bereavement group where you can voice the things that are on your mind, the things that are hurt, and find out that you're not by yourself. That is so important. Don't be by yourself. Share what you're going through with others. Let your friends in. They're not always going to know what to say to you or how to say it because until they go through it themselves, they don't truly know what it is that you're experiencing, but they do want to help. And so don't shut them out. Include them in the things that you do and ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help or embarrassed to ask for help. Let people help you. That will keep you from falling into a state of depression because it can happen so easily. And as much as I love my husband and the fact that I now miss him, I know that he would not want me to be laying around doing nothing and thinking about what coulda, shoulda, would have been if he was still around. So please don't do that.
Right.
You don't
Well,
have.
is there anything that I can do?
Well, you're doing it now. I really appreciate the fact that you are helping me with this interview. I had actually started to just talk about this, and I thought it would be better if someone interviewed me because they could ask me the questions that maybe I wouldn't think of, the things that needed to be shared. So I appreciate the fact that you stepped up to the plate and you were willing to do that for me.
Oh, okay. But
Yeah,
you know what? When someone close, like a husband dies or a wife dies, if you know that they are terminally ill, is there anything that you would suggest to people, some business or things that they need to take care of in
my
order
God,
to
yes.
make sure that transition goes smoother?
I'm laughing because that is one of the problems that I ran into. I had not realized that some of the things that he was taking care of because I just depended on him to do it. I didn't thought about it. And suddenly I found out there were things he was paying for far as the family was concerned that I was not aware of or how much he was spending. And so the financial situation for us, for me rather, changed drastically because suddenly we went from a two-income household, even though we both were retired, we went from a two-income household to a one. And now I had expenses that I have to figure out how am I going to pay for these things? How am I going to take care of them? Because some of them were things I can't just drop them. I can't just let them go. I needed to be able to keep going. So my advice, when you know someone is terminally ill, find out about insurance policies. Make sure you know about the bills, what needs to be taken care of. Are there passwords to things that that you need in order to access some of the information? There's so much that we didn't think about, and so I've been picking my way through things, trying to get us back on track or get me back on track. I keep saying us because it's difficult for me to sometimes to believe that he's not still around. And indeed, sometimes I feel like when I'm sitting here in the house that I almost hear him stirring, or if I hear a noise at the door, I think it's him coming home. So it's difficult to think that he's not here. But I've just sidetracked there. Uh, Getting back to the fact that yes, take care of those personal businesses. You need to know about those things because once they're gone, it's too late.
Right. It's harder to find that information out once they're gone.
Yes.
Okay. So, is there anything else you want to share, or anything else about the process that would help others
Mm.
to make it through?
Well, there's so much I could talk about, but let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Because a couple of years ago, you lost your ex-husband, and even though the two of you had divorced and were no longer together, I know that you still had a good relationship. How did you get through that?
Right. A lot like you, it was a shock. Right. I had spoke to him 3 days before I was called and told that he was in the hospital and that they were trying to get in touch with his children. So I was like, what happened? And nobody knew what happened. He had just passed out. So after work that afternoon, I rushed over to the hospital to see what was going on with him. And there he was lying in the bed with all the life support equipment on him. And everybody seemed to just be waiting around to see, what the doctors are running tests and this and that and the other. And so I was just there with the family. The family had finally got in contact with, and we were all there. We
Mhm.
hadn't seen each other for a while because we had been divorced, but we were still friends, and we weren't. I want we didn't have any children together, so we were married about almost 10 years. So what happened after that? 2 days later, I'm coming back to the hospital to visit him. No family member. The family members were gone, and they sent me to his room, and there he was lying in the bed, looking the same as the last time I saw him 2 days earlier. And I spoke to the nurse, and I said, "Nurse," I said, "well, how's he doing?" And so she told me that, well, he was pronounced deceased yesterday.
Oh gosh.
Yes.
I remember
So,
you telling me about that. That's
right.
still a shocker.
Right. Because he was deceased actually the day that I saw him. The day I went to the hospital, he was deceased when he came to the hospital. And I really didn't know that they don't pronounce you deceased right away sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So they waited 3 days, and then that was the end. And I was just shocked because I was the only one there. No family member, none of the other family members were at the hospital that day. And I was surprised. I would go, "Oh, I'm the only one here today." Right. And so the reason he was still on life support, that was surprising, is because he had donated his organs
Uh,
to save a life. And that was the kind of person he was.
mm,
Yes. So they had to keep him on life support to save the organs for his donation.
mm,
Yes. And it took me some time to get past that, and at least a year
mm,
to get over that shock. Right. And that was one of my closest friends. And like you say, my mom passed away, my sister, my father, and all of these people who are close, very close, are passing away these days.
yeah.
But yeah, so it was just an emotional stress. We weren't married, so I didn't have the other things, the financial things that married couples probably had going on, things
Mm,
that they had to take care of.
mm.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I want to thank you for the interview today to help me get through this. I felt this was important because I needed the people who have been following me on my show to know what had happened, why I suddenly dropped away. And it's also important because there are others who may be going through the same thing. In fact, I know there are others who are experiencing some of the things that I've been experiencing myself. And what my hope is that by sharing this, that there's someone out there who will hear it, and perhaps it will be of some great benefit to them. I just want you to know that you're never alone. I hit my family, and I'm greatly appreciative for that. But I'm also very grateful for the fact that because of my belief and faith in God, that was the rock that has helped me up through so many things. And this was no different. He's been there with me from day one, and just making sure that I'm okay. And as some of you know, you may have heard already, in stepping back out in the limelight or in the realm of the living, I decided to attend a conference that was in Texas. And so I'm one of those people who don't care for flying. Uh, I prefer to drive wherever I'm going. And I chose to drive from California to Texas for a conference. Had a great time. I want to give a shout out to my friend Tim Gillette, who was extremely supportive. His wife and his mother uh, just were wonderful people to me at that conference. And I met some wonderful people there who haven't found out what had happened because Tim shared that information. Uh, they were there for me. They came and it was wonderful. So I had a great time, but it helped me to be able to get back out there. And I want that for everyone else. Family, friends, if you're have a church goer, not trying to push anybody into going, but being a Christian has been a tremendous help for me, and I wouldn't trade that for nothing in the world. It helps sustain me in the things that I need to continue on. So find whatever it is that you need to keep you going. Don't give up on life because life is a gift. It's one of the greatest gifts that God can give you. And if you're still here, that means He has something for you to do. So get out there and find out what it is and do it. I want to thank you again, Nora, for the interview. Are there any last words, something that you'd like to share with the audience that perhaps I'm have neglected to say?
Can't think of anything. I like that. Life is a gift. And one of the things that we all must remember is we only have one.
Yes.
We're not
So
like a cat. We don't have nine.
that's true.
We only have one. And we need to
Well,
bless them.
yeah, amen to that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, this is the Courage to Live Your Dreams show, TV radio show. I want to let you know that our format will be changing. Next episode will be different from what it's been in the past. We will, I'll let you be surprised to find out what's going on. I will say one of the changes will be that we will be speaking to some authors. Those who know me know that I love to read romance stories. So I am going to have some authors come on who write those wonderful books that I so enjoy reading and have them share how they got started and what keeps them going and how they come up with these amazing stories. So until the next time, everyone, and with my co-host today, Nora Jackson, myself, LaWanna Parker, we thank you for being a part of the program. Look forward to you being a part of it next time. And remember, you can always check my blog out at www.lawannaspeaks.com. Take care.
Bye.
Okay, hold on a second. Okay. Hello, everyone. I am so thrilled to be back. Hi, this is Luana, and I am the host of Courage to Live Your Dream talk show, and I'm excited to have a special guest here today. She is someone I consider a very good friend, and I've known her for a couple of years now. Very special lady, hardworking special lady, and I could ramble on and on about her, but I want you to get to know her through some questions and let her share some of the things that she does. I'm telling you, I don't know how she does all the things that she do, but she does, and she does a very good job at it too. So just think about it. The next time you start talking about what you can't do, listen to this woman and pick up some golden nuggets from her. So let me introduce you to, we all call her Pastor C, and her name is actually Sherelle English. But she's a very special lady, and I'm excited that she's considered to even be on my show today. So, Pastor C, before I really start asking you some questions, tell us a little bit about who you are.
Wow, who am I? I'm a child of God. That's always number one, a mighty child of God, someone who believes that she is because he is. I'm a mother of two wonderful young men who are the heads of their households, who do the accountable, responsible thing most of the time, who have two beautiful wives. I'm a grandmother. I have five granddaughters from my first son and two grandchildren from my second son. So that makes me a grandmother of seven. I had to count them to see how many they are. I'm a pastor of Crusaders of Faith Christian Center here in Sacramento, California, the senior pastor of this church, and love my congregation, love the things that we do for our community. I'm also the founder of Eagle Vision Community Development Center, where we have several projects and campaigns that are actually facilitated throughout Sacramento County to provide for individuals who have specific needs within their homes, within their hearts, within their lives. And we believe that we are the church without walls. We don't just take care of the inside, the in-reach, but we are heavy with the outreach out here in the Natomas area. Who else am I? I am the founder of Doers of the Word Women's Ministries. And this is a ministry that meets where we're women who go through the Bible in a year. And we do this via a conference call, and we meet daily, Monday through Friday, for an hour. We're actually in 7 different states. We have small groups that go all over the place, some that are primarily local here to Sacramento, but we also have small groups that are in Texas, that are in Louisiana, that are in Chicago, and several other states. And who am I? I'm a person that just loves people and who am blessed by the opportunity to be of service.
One of the things I know in the 2 years that I've known you, and I've seen you do so many things and do them successfully, but the one that I'm a part of with you is the Project Pen program. I love that program because it reminds me so much, and it gives me the opportunity to pay back what was done for us when we were growing up as kids. And that's that you arranged it so that people who are homeless and low income have a place to go that they can get the food they need. And you set it up like a store so they can just walk in and take what they need. I just admire the fact that you're so faithful in that and you do it every week. Tell us, is there something that we can do, those who are listening to you and may want to help you in some way? Is there something that they can do? Is there something that you need beyond just having some people who come out and help?
Well, Project Pen is one of the campaigns that's under Eagle Vision Community Development Corporation. And PIN, P-I-N, stands for People in Need. The goal of Eagle Vision as a whole, so I wouldn't make it specific to Project Pen, but we're always looking for donations from a financial standpoint, number one, because not only do we have the things that we're doing with Project Pen, but several others, but and specifically, since you brought that up, Project Pen. With Project Pen, we're pretty cool with the food. And we're actually about, when we go through the different paperworks and things, about to expand that actually. But they could use toiletries. Toiletries being toothpaste, being toothbrushes, deodorant, sanitary napkins for the women, dog food, because most of them have pets. Trying to see what are some, if I have my hat on with them right now. They like the big garbage bags because in the rainy season they use them as raincoats. Put it this way, when you think about what do you need on a daily basis to be okay so that you can be comfortable with life, these are the very same things that the people in need need. Now understand, I'm not always referring to the homeless. I have several people that we minister to that live in big houses, and they walk into these big houses and they're empty. They're empty due to maybe one of if they're a married couple, one of them lost their job, or unfortunately, there's one case, she came home and the husband just decided he didn't want to be a husband anymore and just simply left her and her children. You know, but on the outside, if you didn't know what was going on the inside, they looked perfectly okay. But you walk inside and the house was empty, the cupboards were bare, and we were able not just to meet the needs physically as far as the food was concerned, but we were also assisted the individual with relocating to another home that they were renting that would allow them to be more cost effective so they could get back into she could get back into her budget. We assisted with the children to provide counseling for them while they were going through this to make sure that they were okay. It differs. I think that's the fun of the ministry. It differs from one person to the next, but it also falls under the campaign. And the campaign name is SMART, meaning that we actually take specific measures, specific tactical strategies to assist each individual personally so that they can have the things that they need to get back comfortable again and be okay. So I think that's the whole beauty of the campaign itself, is that it's not just for the homeless, because we have people that's every day um, working paycheck to paycheck. One of the companies that we support right now are the employees at Kohl's. And what a lot of people don't know is that most of them are working minimum wage. Most of them are working part-time only. But the expectation is that they have to keep a roof over their head. They have to keep clothes on their back, food in their mouth. Some of them are working not just one job, but 2 and 3 jobs. So when we're able to come in and assist them with anything from food to toiletries, etc., not only does it take care of them, and it gives them a chance to go, one last thing they have to worry about. It is feeding their households. It's taking care of their children. And we actually serve 2 churches, an elementary school, and an apartment complex, plus our church every single week. And we service over 300 to 400 people, providing them with food and their families on a weekly basis. And then SMART supports all of those individuals. And so they know they can contact us anytime. And we're blessed to be affiliated with about 14 different outside agencies that also provide us with the support we need to make sure that that person is taken care of on the bottom line.
Wow. I told you she was a busy person. She does all of this. Of course, we know she's not doing it by herself.
Not at all.
She is the one that makes sure that all of this gets done.
Yeah.
And it means so much for the community that she's out there supporting them. I'm curious, how how did you get started? What made you get started in doing this? Because there's so many of us see what's going on, but none of us actually step out there and do what's necessary. But you grabbed the bull by the horn and said, "This is what I'm going to do," and you did. So, what got you into it, and what keeps you going?
Well, part of it is I'm a cowgirl. No, I'm just teasing. You know, it's my life story. I was a recipient at one point in time. I lived a lifestyle, made some choices and some decisions that put me in a place to become a recipient. And I will never forget that day when I was wondering about if I was going to be able to keep the roof over our head, meaning me and my 2 boys, if I would, how we were going to, it was for Thanksgiving dinner, how we were going to eat for Thanksgiving dinner, because I had no money. Any money I did have went to the rent, the gas, the lights, trying to keep a phone on, trying to do the bare minimum for them. We even, I used to volunteer at Head Start just so that I could take the leftover food home, and that would be our dinner for that night, and the milk I would use for the dinner, and then also the next morning for cereal. So I was that person based on choices and decisions that I made that wasn't good or beneficial for myself or my family. You know, Paul says that everything that's good to you is not beneficial for you. And the decisions I made was not beneficial for me because it left my sons and myself in dire need. And my ex-husband was out on dope. So we were kind of alone. And I was sad that day. I was so sad because I just didn't know what I was going to do to give them a Thanksgiving dinner. And they're all excited because they come from school where they got all these pictures and little activities they did around Thanksgiving. They heard their friends talk about how they're going to have this big Thanksgiving dinner. And then there was just me. And the doorbell rang. And all of a sudden, 3 individuals, one being my girlfriend's mom, came in, and they had tons, like 3, 4, 5 bags of groceries. There was turkey, stuff to make dressing, all of this stuff. And I just stood there with tears coming down my eyes. Now, I hadn't told anybody that I was going through this because I, at that time, was a very private person. And I was too embarrassed to let people know that this is where I had succumbed to. But my girlfriend knew, and she told her mom, and her mom told the church, and the church got together and they put together all of this for me and my family. Well, the one I never forgot that. I still get chills when I think about looking the doorbell and I hear her mom, and because I lived on the first floor and waiting for her to come up, and she's coming up and here's these other two guys with her and they got all these groceries, and I'm wondering, what is it that they're doing, and bottom line, why are they doing it? And then she tells me that all of this is for us. I remember my son's faces lighting up because even though I didn't say we weren't going to have anything, I think specifically my oldest knew, and his eyes lit up because here was all this food. And the baby, he just knew, be happy, there was food. He didn't know why everybody was so happy, but okay, be happy, because he was like 4 or 5 years old. And no, actually he wasn't born yet. He was not born yet. And so we're excited, the food is coming, and I remember that moment. And I have forever been grateful. So it's my way of paying it forward. It's my way as a church of remembering that, Jesus made the comment. He said, where were you when my people were hungry, when they needed a roof? Where were you? And I don't want Jesus to ask me that question. I never want him to ask my church the question, where were you? I think the primary purpose of a church in any community is to provide the resources that are needed for that community. Oh, it's nice if you can get butts and seats, and it's nice if you have a big, beautiful location. But if your community is hungry and the people are without, and they don't have the things they need just to survive one day at a time, and then when they knock on the church door and ask for help, we are saying we cannot be there for you, then what's the purpose of the church? After we have led them to the Lord Jesus Christ, it goes into, now what do I do? And my belief is that the accountability of the church from that moment on is to care for that flock, is to feed them spiritually, physically, and mentally. It's to assist them to get to a place of empowerment where they're now able to atone for their past wrongs and get things back in right balance so that they can be proud of the households that they live in. And I'm not talking about big houses. You can be in a caddy shack. But if that's your caddy shack and you're able to take good care of it, then that caddy shack means the whole world to you. And it's a lot better if you know that you can go someplace and they're going to give you the resources. Now, understand, we give some things, we teach a lot others, because I'm not just trying to do handouts so that, this is not the store of Jimmy. You can, take all I can give you. It is a store. Well, let me say that wrong. My name's not Jimmy, and it's not, you can take all I can give me. It's we want to get you started, but the purpose is also to get you to go through that transformational experience that renews the mind, restores the soul, revives the spirit, and bring people back closer to God, but bring them to that state that God always desired, to have a relationship with him, but to also be empowered to stand on our own 2 feet. We were designed for greatness. We were designed to be a people that's able to stand, but we were not designed to be a people that stood alone. Acts 4:32 tells us we pull all our resources together, and it said when they were divided out evenly, no person went without. And so that's my inspiration, actually, is Acts 4:32, to get us to a place that when people get well, they don't just leave, but now they give back. And that's the beauty of Crusaders of Faith. You will see it over and over again. First, they came in and they were people in need, and now they're serving. After service, they're step up because they know exactly.
I have to admit that is amazing. I've seen some of those people who were first come in, they were very timid about coming in and getting what they needed, but now to have some of them actually helping with what you do. Um, I'm never going to forget Bill standing up there and singing to us, and it was
Yeah.
just great. I mean, to see how he had changed from the first time he came to where he was willing to stand before the group and bear his testimony and sing a song. It was just something moving about there. Really, um, something very special about seeing that and to know that it means so much to them what you do, and they feel
Well, see,
comfortable being
but when
around.
you get it from yourself, when you are that person, it's easy to serve someone else because you don't have that better than attitude. I think I'm all that. Not too long ago, me standing in that line was part of my story.
Mhm. And before I forget, is there a way people can contact you when they want to help you in some way? Is there a way that they can reach you or go and find out more information about what you do?
Sure. We have our website, which is www.crusadersoffaith.org. We have telephone number, which is 916-243-0313. That's 916-243-0313. And when you contact us on that number, you can either call, leave a voicemail message, or you can actually contact us on that number via text. Someone will get back to you within 24 hours, and we will identify what other needs you have. And then our need is always the same. We need you to love the Lord. We need you to see what we do as a blessing. And then if God leads you, and only if God leads you, because we want cheerful givers. We want people who are excited about being a help and a participant in their community. If you're in the Natomas area, you can come on board, or in the Sacramento area, you could come out and join us. We are a working church. I will say that to the day I die. We are a working church. We're not just a learning church. The expectation is that you learn from in-reach and you serve from outreach. We are a working church. And if you want to be a part of something that's exciting, new, done a little different, because we're different than the average bear, but you see the fruit and you see the growth, then Crusaders of Faith is where you want to be.
Well, we're getting close to the end here, and I want to ask you a couple of more questions. Just knowing how much you do, and sometimes you must feel discouraged because um, there aren't more people volunteering uh, to come out and assist with what you're doing. Do you ever feel like, you know what, I'm tired of this? Um, do you ever feel like giving up? What keeps you going?
And that's a good question, and it's because I know it's my calling. I have never ever felt the need to give up. Do I get tired? Yeah, physically, because sometimes I overextend myself. Do I get frustrated because people aren't there? No. I honestly believe that God will bring those who are supposed to be there to assist with the things that we do. But I also welcome the fact that as a church, we're a place of attrition, meaning that when you come in, you may be hurt and you may be broken. And so you're going to be with me for a season, or be with us for a season as you begin to heal and restore. But once you get to a place of restoration and your transformation begins, and now you step and walk into your calling, now that's wherever God sends you. There will be those individuals who are called to be a part of Crusaders of Faith, called to serve in our church and in our ministries. And this is where they're supposed to be. There's going to be others, and there have been many who, once they got to that place of healing, God has moved them in order to place them in the communities to do the things they do. You yourself, Lawana, you started writing a book, and began, and you have this show, and and what would I say? No, you can't do these things. These are only for you're supposed to be with Crusaders of Faith. No, that's when I know God's working. That's when I know He's actually doing the things He says you're supposed to do, because there should be that progress, not perfection, all the time.
Mhm.
Which means some will stay, some will go, some will come back to visit. But as long as they're doing what God has called them to do, they're right where they're supposed to be, doing just what they're supposed to do. And to me, that's a healthy church.
Well,
Because, I
you
mean, like,
mentioned something just a moment ago, and I want to ask you about that because you're right. You have people who are very negative, and so when you first started doing this? I'm sure you must have had those who love you, but you're wasting your time. Why should you get involved in this? Nobody's going to care. Did you have mentors? Because you hear a lot about mentors, coaches, leaders. Uh, was there anyone that you were able to turn to when you had those negatives coming at you, just bombarding you from all directions, trying to tell you you're wasting your time. Don't do this. You want to do something where you can make money. You want a big church. How did you handle that?
Well, I don't have time to talk about it today, but I have my circles of life. And my circles of life create boundaries. And there are just a rare few people that are part of my inner circle. I have people that are around me all the time, different layers of people, and they have different purposes in my life. And I have different purposes in their life. But I am very strategic with who is in my inner circle. And I'm blessed to have some very powerful mentors that are in my inner circle. I have my husband who is in my inner circle, my children that are in my inner circle. You're one of the people that's in my inner circle that love me, that encourage me. And I think that is so important because just like in the book of Nehemiah, you're going to have those naysayers. You're going to have the Sambalots that come in your life that, who are you? What makes you think? I mean, golly, who am I? I'm a woman. I'm a senior pastor. What are you thinking about? I could care less. For those who are watching this is who I am. I could care less about what they're saying unless it is God Himself coming out their mouth telling me to stop. And God hasn't done that. So you have your hedge of protection of what I call it. Those individuals that when you do get tired, when you do need help, when you do need support, I have this hedge around me where I can pick up a phone at any time. And like when I was in the hospital a couple of months ago, we had guest speakers that came in the church. I can get on the phone at any time. All I need to do is call, and they will tell you, and they say it in front of you. They say, all she needs to do is call us and we're here. Anything she needs, we got her. And when you know that type of alone, I mean, but they're not in that inner circle, the ones that hold me up. See, I have people who hold me up, they're my armor bearers. And I mean armor bearer in the sense of when I'm about to go down, they go, girl, no, 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 no. God's got to work for you. There's things that you need to do. No, 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 no. Why would you listen to that person if that person's not trying to sow into your dream? Instead, they're trying to sow into your pocket. No, 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 no. As time and experience.
Well, we're going to have you come back to talk about that inner circle because I've heard your presentation on it, and I think it is so important that people understand what it means about the inner circle. And I don't want to give a haphazard thing about it today, but we'll have you back to talk about that because it makes a difference when you
Yes.
recognize who you allow in your inner circle and how you can determine who belongs there and who does not, and without actually hurting anyone's feelings. And so um, I'm just amazed by you, girl. I'm very impressed with you. I know personally all the wonderful things that you do, and I know all the people who love you because they are there to support you in what you do, and they don't complain. They just come. They're there. Can you imagine people giving up their weekend to come out and help you, especially on a Saturday? It's supposed to be our day to go and do what we want to do, but instead, we're there with you, and it's because we believe in what you're doing. And it's true. Sometimes people they can't come every single time, but they're there more often than they miss. And that's the
Yes.
key. That means you have reached them. You have got them to a point where they recognize that what you do is important and it fulfills them. I find it very rewarding when I'm out there with you. And I'm so glad you came to be on the show today. It's been a real pleasure having you here.
Well,
Any
let me
final
say this,
words
that
before we
you
leave?
are a sparkle in my eye, Luana. You encourage me. I love your spunk. I love your tenacity. When you when you announced your new book, you would have thought I had written it. I was so proud of it. And I was trying to show everybody, tell the whole world, and that, you are the new 40. You are the new spunk. You are the new excitement about life. You encourage me to never give up. And and I know personally some of the hurdles that you've gone through and are going through. However, have always been that light. When I research Lawana Parker, and you see how you have done so many things in the community, you're nothing to laugh about. You're somebody who takes your life as serious, and it is an honor and a privilege to be a pastor to you. I mean, I sit there and I look at the people that God has around me just at the church, and I'm like, wow. God, you brought the big wigs. You brought in the heavy hitters. You brought in the people that's like, let's make this happen. And that's, that's like kind of disconcerting, because you guys walk in knowing your stuff. You intimidate me sometimes, But
Well,
you
we do
guys
have to make her sit down sometimes, especially when we know she's not feeling good, but she's still trying to do all the things that she normally would do. And it's a hard job just to get her to sit down and let other people do the work for her. But we love you anyway. And as I say, I'm so glad you came on the program today. I want to encourage you to give her a call. Just give your website and your phone number again in case someone missed it. And we will make sure that it's posted so that for those who don't happen to have their pencils handy, to get the information, because this is important. Um, I believe that God put us all here to help one another. And
Yeah.
as Jesus said, we're always going to have the poor, but it's our responsibility to try to help those who are in need and not just watch them and then go on our merry way. So
You better
thank you
preach it,
for all
girl.
the work.
Woo-wee.
What was that?
I said, you better preach it, girl. Go on.
Thank you. So share that website and phone number.
It is www.crusadersoffaith.org. That's www.crusadersoffaith.org. Our telephone number is area code 916-243-0313. Again, that's 916-243-0313.
Thank you. And I want to encourage all of you, if there's anything, we're not just asking for money. I mean, bodies are always welcome. Uh, as she said, things like toiletries, the things that personal items that people need. That if you've got it to share, bring it out. We accept, and the people who we help will accept. So I'm thankful that you're here listening to us today. Thank you again, Pastor C. And I'm excited that you're here, and just feel really blessed that you came onto my show. Wow. My website is Courage to Live Your Dream. However, it is under construction. It's not completed yet, but it is Courage to Live Your Dream. And we hope to have it up and running in very near future. And the number that you can contact us at is 916-238-8847. And look forward to you returning next week for our next show. And just thrill that you're here. That until next time, take care, and we love you.